How to invest in real estate without buying houses or managing tenants. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode at Novarise Invest, your channel for financial education. So today's episode is for those investors who know that real estate, it's a great tool to invest in, to build your net worth, to make your money's worth, but they don't necessarily want to get hands-on. They don't necessarily want to go out there and buy a property or do any fixes, any renovations, or deal with any tenants or property managers at all. So I decided to create this episode to share this amazing tool with you, which I have shared in the past, but this time I decided to create this episode to provide you with an update of what the returns are like after 3 years of being in this platform. So without further ado, let's just get started. Before we start, let me remind you to subscribe to this channel and hit the notifications button. Once again, you already know about this tool, but before we move on to that, I want to share with you the market conditions. So that way you know what to expect, you know what's going on. And I'm using this article by Go Banking Rates to prove you that real estate, it is still the asset to invest in, especially to protect yourself against inflation and to build up your net worth. So what is the current state of the housing market in your state, right? So according to this article, home value rose by more than 50%, okay? 50 in 2 years in some states, okay? Remember, every state, it's different. Real estate, it's very localized. And so what we're going to do is just to simply highlight a couple of places just to give you a general sense of what real estate is looking like in multiple states. However, we're not going to go over all 50 of them. Otherwise, we're going to be here for a couple of hours. So first off, we have Alabama right here in the list. It's actually dear to my heart because I also invest in Alabama. So let's just compare the numbers from back in 2020 to 2022. So back in February 2020, the home value in Alabama was set at $148,908. And as of February 2022, 2 years later, the new home value is set at $193,601. So that means that there has been an increase of $44,693. And in percentage, that translates to 30.01%. So again, definitely a great asset class to invest your money in and to build up your, call it retirement plan, or why not, to replace your full-time job. Why not? So as we keep scrolling down, let's just check out another state that has been in the news very lately, and that's Florida. And I also happen to invest in Florida. So a property back in 2020 in Florida was worth at $262,487. That was the average. And as of February 2022, the home value is set for $373,735. Once again, remember, this is the average of all of Florida. Depending on where you are, it could be Miami, it could be Ocala, it could be Kissimmee, it could be in West Palm Beach. Prices are going to fluctuate and they're going to change. It might reflect your locality in Florida, or these prices might not, but just keep in mind that this is the average, right? So when we look at the comparison between 2020 to 2022 numbers, the 2-year change, we're talking about a whopping 111,248. And that is an increase of 42.38%. Not bad for Florida, right? That's amazing. And one last one, I actually want to check New York because I'm actually interested and see what's happening, because I know New York had a slight, tiny little dip at the beginning of the pandemic. A lot of people were afraid and they left, but everything seems back to normal in New York. So back in February 2020, the average home value in New York is $279,743. Once again, keep things into perspective. New York City is not the entire New York State. Remember, New York City, yes, is very expensive. Houses are up in the millions. But remember, there's still the rest of New York State. And when you take the average of all those counties in New York and you do the math, that's what you end up with. So that was the number in 2020. And now in 2022, the average home value is set at $352,611. That is a whopping change of $72,868, and that puts you at a 26.05% increase, okay, over the span of 2 years. Amazing numbers that we're talking here. Now that you know, and now that we have proven that real estate is still the way to go, let's go ahead and move on to Fundrise, which is the platform I wanted to talk to you about. Now, for those who are brand new to the channel, welcome. But for those who have been following me for quite some time, Fundrise is probably not new for you because I released an episode a couple of years ago where I talked about the platforms and I gave you the ins and outs of how to navigate this platform. So what I wanted to share with you is the return that I've received in my investment with Fundrise. Now, I know I could have invested a lot more money in this, but I truly wanted to do an experiment because, as you might have seen by the thumbnail of that prior video, the goal of that video was to show every one of you that if you don't have the funds to invest in real estate, you can still get started with a little bit more capital. So in that prior video, I talked about the options that you had with as little as $25, and it will build your way up all the way to $500. So the minimum investment at the time with Fundrise was $500. And that is how I set up my account to be, because I wanted to see how much could you possibly really get back with a $500 investment. And these are the numbers right here. So overall, my return today, since I've opened an account in 2019, has been $309.11. That's actually not bad for someone who has done nothing with that money. I literally just parked my money here and I did nothing. So I opened up my account on March 21st, 2019 with $500. And then after that, I just let it sit. And you can see here the progress of how the money started moving upwards. And I started gaining dividends and I started getting supplemental income. But I wasn't touching that money because my mind was set up in expanding my real estate portfolio, was set up in creating episodes for you guys to keep you educated and to help you learn about different investment methods that can help you maximize your money. And then it wasn't until I hit this point where I thought, hey, this is interesting. I like what I'm seeing. Let me invest an additional $500, right? So I kept my portfolio at Fundrise with only $500 for about a year or so. And a little over a year after, I decided to bump it up to $500 more for a total of $1,000. And once it hit $1,000, the momentum was, ridiculous. It just never stopped. And it kept growing and kept growing and growing and growing and growing all the way until I checked it last night. And that number was at $1,276.65. So I like what I saw. And what I decided to do was just to simply started auto investing. So I actually went through the channel and I started setting auto investments of $100 every single month just to see. Could I invest more money in it? Yes. But I wanted to prove a point here in this case to show you that there is no such thing as having too little money to invest in real estate. You can definitely find alternative methods to make your money work. And once you have amassed enough money or enough capital, you can move on to buying the bigger pieces, call it the first single family home, the first multifamily, or whatever you want. So for those who are actually curious, let's just go ahead and navigate the breakdown. But before we do that, if you're enjoying this episode, do not forget to hit the like button right here so you can help this episode rank and help others like you looking for information of this kind. Once again, these are my returns year to date in 2022 and my all-time return. So I made a total dividend of $143. Again, this is based off of $1,000 investment. First, I started with $500, and a year later, I've invested an additional $500. So far, I've had this account for 3 years, and now I decided to do auto investments of $100 every month just to monitor to see how that grows. And then once it reached to a nice, decent point, then I'll just rack it up. Why not start sooner? Because I want to have proof for you. I want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that even with a small amount of capital, you have the right and you have the choice to get started investing in real estate. Okay, so in terms of dividend, you can call that cash flow, $143.17. And in terms of appreciation, I have made $166.41. In terms of performance, you can come in right here and you can see the allocation in the different quarters year to year. So this is the changes in percentage wise, and then all the numbers, the fancy numbers that you see here. But if you want to see the returns in dollars, this is how everything starts looking in dollars. So in terms of allocation, my distribution is divided in 45% fixed income, core plus, value add, and opportunistic. What does that mean? We can definitely find out in the legend. So what does that mean? So all you have to do is just to click on it and you will see the breakdown on what they do. So apartment renovation, so that's all value add. If you want to know about fixed income, you go back and let's just check on the portion of fixed income. So home construction, 49 projects, new apartments in Union City, new apartments in Grand Prairie, Texas. You can actually see where your money is being invested on. You can see the transactions right here, dividends, everything that has been provided to you, how much did you make on a quarterly basis. And the beautiful part is that you get a lot of resources in this platform. You got a lot of news feeds and also part of the help center to help you learn more about what the platform has to offer. So in terms of new feeds, this is the recent activity of my portfolio. So I can see that there has been a new acquisition, rental home community in the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. This is the site. What's the strategy? If you want to learn more, all you got to do is just to read more and learn about what it is. So what is Core Plus? So Core Plus focuses on acquiring and operating stabilized cash flow in real estate. So it shows you the risk profile, the expected timing, and the expected source of return. It shows you the business plan and the reason why they decided to invest in it. That's why I like this platform a lot, because it serves as a learning platform for you. So that way you can stay on top of what's happening in the market locally. You can learn about what's going on. So that way, in the event that you decide to venture out into this area and get a physical home in the future, to whether it's for you to live in or for you to invest in, you already know how things are moving around. So now let's just venture out into fixed income for those who are curious about learning about fixed income. So what is fixed income? They provide real estate backed loans or similar structured financing. It's low to moderate in terms of the risk return, the business plan, why they decided to invest in this. And so they tell you all the market research they have done in the area, the partners that they're actually working with, and then the margins that they're receiving should you decide to invest in their plans. So that's about it on my portfolio, on my return, and hopefully that will give you enough evidence for you to take action today. The link to Fundrise is down in the description below, so make sure you definitely check it out so that you can start investing and you don't have to worry about things that are happening right now in the market, whether the rates are going up, whether the houses are getting expensive, whether there's any supply chain issue, none of that. You're not gonna have to deal with any of that because you have Fundrise. So all you gotta do is just to click on the link down below and put your money to work just like I did. For those who wanna learn more about the prior episode that I talked about, here's the video right here on the site that you can check out and you can navigate the ins and outs of Fundrise. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.